Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Barlow Zone, home of the one and only demon hunter King Kaido, himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I hope y'all having an amazing day. Now, weather's been all over the place. I've been feeling like I don't know, kind of sick or something lately, so I apologize if there's anything up with my voice. But obviously, I wanted to stop in today. I really wanted to stop in yesterday, but I had some life stuff come up. Didn't have a chance to do any recording. Honestly, I kind of liked it because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The first time I read the chapter yesterday, now it was yesterday afternoon. There's some great Dota tournament play going on right now. World of Warcraft's Mythic Dungeon International final season's going on. A lot of esports stuff that I enjoy watching has been taking up some of my time, right? But I got a chance to read the chapter yesterday, and then, hey, what's up, Alice? Uh, like I said, I wanted to record some, but I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really feeling supremely motivated by anything because this was the first time in a while, honestly, that we came back from a break week, and I didn't feel like Oda just absolutely blew us out of the water, right? Uh, no, I'm not saying the chapter was bad. It was a really good chapter, really cool. Hit on a lot of story beats, kind of rounded out some, added context to some other stuff. So after I got a chance to reread the chapter, I really started to take mental notice on things, and I'm all, you know what? I do got some stuff I want to talk about with this chapter. So let's go ahead and get into it. My usual chapter reaction. If you're looking for a review or full breakdown, anything like that, obviously, like I say, there are other channels that do that. That's not what I'm doing. I just wanted to bring you guys my reaction to what happened this week. So first things first, I've been seeing a lot of people kind of bringing it up, right? And we got introduced to, I guess, an alternate way of beating Domi Reversi, right? Like, as it turns out, you may not need the power of Nika to fight this curse, right? You just need immense and exceptional levels of hockey. Now, that doesn't open up the board too much as far as, players that are going to be on the field at the end of it. Definitely still feels like Luffy and the Hito no Mi Model Nika are going to be the counterplay to Domi Reversi and Imu's powers. But, Nika can't be everywhere. So it's kind of nice to know that, while maybe Luffy's fighting with the Straw Hats on one front, Imu's trying to play some mind games and stuff in the background, right? Like, he playing that support, stay back, get jumped last, but the most dangerous person on the field, you play any MOBA ever, you understand the support, if they know what they're doing, is the most dangerous person in that fight. The carry might be the strongest, the offlaner might be the tankiest, but your support duo is what's going to win the fight for you. So it's kind of cool to know that these characters like Dragon or Shanks or Sabo or Kaido, Big Mom, any of these big power pieces that are going to be in play during the final war, right? It's nice to know that if Luffy doesn't have the availability to be there during that fight, they have an out. They might need help from some of their backup, kind of, adding importance to the level of hockey that Katakuri or King are capable of, right? So it's cool to know that Luffy isn't the only counterplay. He is just the answer. There are other things there. Moving along, though, as I said, a lot of people have been talking about that. I thought it was really cool that both Garp and Roger were showing some concern about what happened to Zebek, right? Because I had already kind of pointed out that it made sense for Roger to be concerned, have some worry, like, hey, isn't there anything at all that we can do to save you, homie? And it's just nice to know that Garp is still a good enough dude, right? That even though he knew this had to be done, he's still there like, hey, you know what? Did homeboy make it? Were we able to break the curse? Now, Rayleigh and Gabon, they might not know that the curse was broken. We didn't really get any concrete detail on when Rayleigh and Gabon showed up. All we know for certain is that, Garling, Maffey, and Summers came in, and Garling delivered that final blow on Zebek. I do want to point out in this moment, we had the perfect opportunity to see why Summers was scared of Gabon, and for some reason Oda decided not to show us this week. I'm sure he has his reasons. I can't think of any off the top, especially if you're thinking you don't have very many more opportunities to explain stuff. Why would you kind of ignore a perfect opportunity like this? But I will continue to put my faith in Oda. If he decided now was not the time to show why Gabon was utterly terrified, Summers was terrified of Gabon, there's got to be another moment. Maybe a half a chapter flashback once the fighting on Elbaf really kicks back off, right? You get the fights against Summers, what's his name, the Kirin dude, and the Arrow. Wow, man, it's been so long since we've been on Elbaf. I'm actually starting to forget the names of these gods knights, right? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. When we finally get back to that, we might get something from Summers as like, hey, you remind me, Zoro, of that Gabon guy, so I'm gonna go extra hard on you type thing. Moving along, because another thought, now I don't know for certain that anybody else has said this, but I do know that I have pitched this idea before. I never got around to doing a full video about this idea specifically. After this chapter, I just might go ahead and do a full video about this theory. But I have stated before that because of what was going on with the God Valley flashback, I was starting to think that Thriller Bark was the last remnant of God Valley. So I just wanted to point out that this line, when things were going down, the Rogers Pirates are making their great escape, right? Talking about the island collapsed into the sea and it was covered by a veil of fog, like curtains covering a grand stage. Thriller Bark, we do know it was an island before it was made a ship. It was an island, and it was from the West Blue, and it has this fog motif connected to it. Like I say, hey, if you guys want to hear more about that one, let me know in the comments. Timestamp this, do whatever, the YouTube stuff. Let me know that you find this idea tantalizing. I just might go ahead and double down, get that video in the works. The next thing I found interesting is, we get the look of the Roger Pirate ship after, assumedly after managing to evade the pursuit of the Navy. They got away. Roger had time to recuperate. He gets up. They finally open the treasure, right? Hey, respect for the captain. Yeah, you know what? We're all excited to dig in, but we gotta wait for homeboy number one to be ready. He gets first cut. In all of this, I found myself asking, where's Gloriosa? Didn't she shoehorn her way into this crew to get off of God Valley? I don't know if it's Oda telling us that the Roger Pirates said, nah, you can't come, or if it's Oda trying to retain the canon that he's already established, because we've seen this before. We've seen the Roger Pirates opening this treasure chest and finding baby Shanks. Gloriosa wasn't there before. We would have had to retcon her into that image now. I understand it's entirely possible that Gloriosa was just chilling somewhere else on the ship. Maybe she was grabbing some food, attending to some wounds that she sustained, whatever it may have been. I just found it curious that in 1165, Oda went out of his way to point out that Gloriosa seemed to be making her escape with the Roger Pirates. but then never showed her even in a background image of a new look at the ship leaving God Valley. Just one of those little curiosities, right? Moving on, I liked the panel we got of Garp kind of raging out, just going full ham, like that newspaper rage baited the F out of him, because again, it's just a confirmation that I was right when I said that Garp and Roger didn't want to be doing this. They did not want the titles that were about to be bestowed on them because of what God Valley was forcing them to do. Garp was pissed. Like, what is this article talking about? I'm the hero of the Marines. Like, bro, how much strength you gotta have to rip paper in half without starting with a small rip? Like, usually there's an angle. Like, nah, dude, just straight up to the side. Like, how mad you gotta be, Garp? Anyway, I found it curious that Sengoku was the one that the suspicion was pivoted to, right? I personally, at least, did not like Sengoku saying that, hey, you know what? Even if I did find out that my bosses were, kind of crazy, stupid, or insane, I just turn a blind eye to it. There's millions of people in this organization or organizations. It's impossible to keep up with the motivations of all of them. Like, yeah, you know what? You're right, Sengoku. It is. It's impossible to keep up with the motivations, actions, or intent of that many people. But when you're saying that if I found out that my bosses were crazy stupid, I'd still stick around, like, I think it sets up perfectly the double standard for Garp, right? Because Garp's sitting here kind of calling out Sengoku, right? Like, hey, you know what? You kind of said you figured something like this would be going on, and you still just didn't say or do anything about it. Like, what the fuck's up with that, homie? And Sengoku just straight up told Garp, like, hey, you know what? It is what it is, dude. Like, I'm just trying to survive, make a living, be able to pay rent next month. And Garp's all, you know what? If I ever even get the inkling that you're corrupted, fam, I'm coming for that head myself. Sengoku's all, okay, bet, 100. Like, that's what friends are for, right? If you see that my head's been twisted, I expect you to take it. Like, yeah, the interaction was really cool, and it helped establish that Garp really wants to protect these Marines that he sees as good. But then he basically does the same thing with Dragon, where he's all, nah, you know what? Yeah, son, I've seen what this organization's about, but I can't just leave. Like, there's still some good kids back there. I'm going to train them, bring them up. We're going to do better. And Dragon's all, nah, fam, like, F you. I hate you. You're dead to me. I ain't got no daddy. You decided to stick with these fools knowing what they're about? Nah, F you. I ain't got no dad. And, Garp still came through, still dropped that key, like, it's going to be a hard out, son, but if you can make it, I believe in you. Like, and I find it really weird that Garp was put in this double standard position, right? Because, once again, I keep saying it. Every time I talk about, being suspicious of Garp, I always remind myself, point out, Garp is supposed to be somebody that we are meant to trust and believe in. Like, at the end of the day, Luffy still trusts and believes in his grandpa, so we are also still meant to trust and believe in this man. The fact that he's being painted like this, it's weird, but it did force me to realize something that I don't know why. Sorry if you guys heard that, a little bit of camera rock there. My notepad just fell against the stand. But it forced me to realize something that I had never realized before. And honestly, once it dawned on me, I'm like, why haven't I realized that before? And what is that? It's the Monkey Clan's existence, right? Like, you got Monkey D. Garp, Monkey D. Dragon, Monkey D. Luffy. They're the only three we know about for some reason. Perhaps it's that rule of three that Oda loves to play with. Perhaps. I ain't got nothing to there. But what I do got and what I realized is that Garp wants to protect the good Marines. He sees that there are still good people in this organization who need somebody strong to protect them while they figure out what to do with the future of themselves. Dragon wants to protect the citizens of the world, the people who are just trying to make a living, don't care about the politics of the world government, don't care about the politics of piracy, just want to be left alone to live their best life. These are the people Dragon wants to protect. And then you got Luffy out here protecting piracy as a whole. The only faction in the story that is not protected by a member of the Monkey D clan is the world government. Yes, I know you might argue Garp's part of the Marines. Aren't they part of the world government? Yeah, technically. But Garp has made it clear during this God Valley flashback that the only reason he is still actively part of the Marines is because he wants to protect these good ones that he has identified. And, perhaps this is why Garp has been painted in this double standard position, right? And it's interesting to remember that Dragon also has said that he wants to maintain the policing agency that the Navy is, kind of identifying that Dragon also sees the Marines and the Navy as beneficial to the citizens of the world overall. Even Dragon understands there are good Marines. He just didn't like that his dad decided to stay there with them and continue to be a puppet. I really want some closure between these two. I still think that Dragon is going to die by the end of the story. There's so many possibilities of how that plays out, but I really want Dragon and Garp to have that moment of closure where they can come together like, hey, you know what, son? I was wrong. I should have been there with you. I should have at least explained to you why I was staying in the Marines, why I wanted to protect these people. Because it's also kind of been alluded to in this flashback that Garp has some plan of his own that he is trying to enact from within the Marines. In current times, we understand and know that this is Sword. Back then, there wasn't really any indication of what Garp's endgame was, right? But anyway, moving on, I do want to kind of pitch a big theory, right? This one isn't anything new or fresh. As I believe even I have pitched it in a video before. I've seen it talked about in a lot of places, but I wanted to go over a few things that now that we've gotten the brunt of the God Valley and Herald flashback out of the way, right? Like we probably got, I'd say 3 to 5 more chapters explaining the end of the Herald flashback before we get back to Elbaf proper. But now that we've gotten most of this flashback out of the way, I wanted to kind of point out some things to support this theory now, right? And that theory being that Loki is going to join the Strawhat crew by the end of Elbaf. At least in the sense that Hajruden has joined the Strawhat crew, right? I guess Strawhat Grand Fleet is more accurate. I suppose it's probably more accurate to say that I'm theorizing that Loki and Hajruden are going to be the co-captains of the new giant warrior pirates who are part of that Strawhat Grand Fleet. But specifically, the part I want to talk about is why I even more firmly now believe that Loki is destined to align with Luffy. And the biggest part of that we've seen in this God Valley flashback so far, in the Xebec Herald events of 40 years ago flashback, right, is Loki's obsession with Xebec. Now, why would Loki being obsessed with Xebec be a key factor into why Loki is going to align with Luffy, right? Because, like, Teach is Xebec's kid. If Loki was so obsessed with Xebec, why wouldn't he want to align with Xebec's son? Especially considering Xebec was so intent on getting his dad to align with him. Like, it kind of makes sense that the sons would also want to team up. But while Teach has been pursuing the same goal, evidently, the same dream, what have you, that Xebec seemed to be chasing during this flashback, Teach has kind of been doing it his own way. Like, he wants to get to the same end game, but he seems to have identified, hey, you know what? Evidently Pop's plan wasn't good enough. He failed. So I got to come up with a new plan to achieve the same goal type thing. But not only that, I think the key factor is what was just revealed in this chapter in 1166 when Loki said to Zebek, I think you are Nika. It wasn't necessarily Zebek that Loki was obsessed with. It was the idea of who Zebek was that Loki was obsessed with. And that idea that Loki had about Zebek was that he was Nika. So that I pose the question to you, if Nika is the focus of Loki's obsession, which seems to be true to this day, you know, think back on what we've gotten of Elbaf proper so far. Loki introduced himself as Nika. We've had absolute metric tons of references to Nika throughout the entire arc. Why then, when Loki finally comes face to face with Nika, would he not be, oh yeah, and Nika even asked me to be on his crew? Bet, 100, full send, let's go. Hey Nika, I'm in. Like, why wouldn't he? What, just because Teach is Zebek's son? As I said, it seems like Loki was obsessed with the idea of what Zebek was, not Zebek the man himself. And I think the fact that Loki told Zebek that he thinks that Zebek is Nika is the telltale sign there. For Loki, it was the idea that Zebek was the man to fulfill the will of Nika. And, you know, obviously because of that, Luffy is much more aligned with the idea of Zebek, right? But even beyond the idea of Zebek, what Zebek was actually trying to do during his life before that final climactic battle that would destroy his reputation forever. What Zebek was trying to do, the man he was, what he was pursuing, is much more aligned with Luffy than it is with Teach so far. Another big thing in this chapter, for some reason, Oda decided that we needed to know that Zebek told Loki about the importance of the Gale-Ra giants, right? Like, okay, you know, Harold's gone. Harold obviously isn't going to be able to bring the Gale-Ra giants back into the picture. But now Loki knows about them. Loki understands that, okay, this is a key part of winning this final war, and it would seem that the king of the Elbathian giants is the only one that can bring this faction back into play. So I think just with some of the clues we've gotten, not only in chapter 1166, but going back, just the overall Harold Zebek God Valley flashback, the new information we have, I think it's really time to try to bench the hate, right? Ooh, sorry about that. I know y'all heard that. Try to bench that hate. Try to be on, nah, ain't no way that Loki's joining the crew. He can't fit on the ship. Hey, he might have a devil fruit that lets him adjust his size. Frankie might just make the ship bigger. Dude knew, or Frankie was the one in possession of the plans for Pluton before they were destroyed. Dude would understand how to build on a massive scale. We are on Elbaf, the source of Atom Tree wood. Like, there are a lot of explanations for how Loki fits onto the crew going forward. Let's try to bench our hate and try to put aside our preconceptions, right? Because, yeah, I do still understand that there are reasons to think that Loki might decide to join Teach instead. There are reasons. But considering what we've been told, the information that Oda has decided was important for us to know right away, I think it's much more likely that Oda is planting the seeds, giving us the breadcrumbs, if you will, setting us up for that reveal of Loki joining the crew, or at least taking co-captain with Hajrun and being part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. As always, though, friends, I would love to know what you guys thought about this chapter, what you guys think about any of these ideas I brought up. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. If a YouTube comment isn't enough, as always, don't forget you can find me on my socials. That would be Barlow Be Theorizing on X and Tumblr. Or join my Discord community, the Barlow Zone. Links to all three will be in the comments below. I hope everybody has a good day. Much love, friends.